No, so here's one thing that this is one point that I wanted to make today, which is so Trump tweeted out that he actually has the authority to open up the economy. And immediately all the Democrats and liberals all of a sudden are saying, Trump doesn't have the authority to open up the economy. That's a states' rights issue. That's what governors can do. And it's like, you guys have been sitting here for the last month begging Trump to do a national lockdown, a national quarantine of everybody. And you guys were obsessed with trying to get Trump to do a national lockdown. And of course, I have been for the month saying, no, Trump doesn't have the authority to issue a national lockdown order for various reasons. And any analysis of constitutional powers, there's two sort of questions you have to. One, does this government entity have the power to do something? Two, if they do have that power to do it, when they did it, did they do it in a way that doesn't violate any rights of people? And so I've been making the point that the president doesn't have the power to do a national lockdown order for both reasons. One, there's nothing in the Constitution that authorizes the president to do that. Of course, liberals, Democrats, and everybody always falls back on the interstate commerce clause. Well, the Trump has the power to regulate interstate commerce, and the pandemic, it substantially affects interstate commerce, so he does have the power. More importantly, number two, my argument has always been, no, that violates people's rights. It violates their First Amendment rights because they have the right to assemble. It violates their 9th and 10th Amendment rights because these are it's an unenumerated right to travel. It violates Fourth Amendment right because you are now being seized within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment in an unreasonable manner and without a warrant. Violates your Fifth Amendment right because you don't have due process, which is a notice and an opportunity to be heard before you're locked down. Violates your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney because you're locked down without being able to consult counsel. Violates your Seventh Amendment right to a jury trial because you're now locked down without the right to a jury trial. Violates all these rights. So that's the state. I've been saying all along, no, Trump can't do a national lockdown. And then Trump says, I can do a national open up order. And now the Democrats are saying, you can't do it. You can't open up the country. That's not within the power of the presidency. You can't open up the country. Only governors can do that. And it's like, you sad leftist liberals. Now all of a sudden you really, 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 really care about states' rights. You really, 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 really care about the size and scope of the federal government. It's like if you're a liberal and you think the president has the ability to do a lockdown order, then on what basis do you say that he doesn't have the power to do an open up order? Because clearly, opening up the country, that has to do with interstate commerce under their interpretation of it. So it's just totally inconsistent. I don't think the president has the power to do a national open up order, but that's because I've been consistent that the federal government doesn't have the power to just order people around within their states. Now, I think the constitutional argument for having the power to open up the country is a much stronger power than the power, or is much more likely to be valid than the power to do a national lockdown order. Reasoning being that there's something called the negative interstate commerce clause, which basically prevents states from interfering with interstate commerce. And if one state is like doing a lockdown order and not allowing their citizens to do business with another state, that's interfering with interstate commerce, and the president can tell them no. More importantly, the state lockdown orders are violating people's constitutional rights, and we just saw a federal judge yesterday issue an order finding that the certain lockdown order was unconstitutional in the way it was being implemented. And so I do think the president has the power and authority to protect people's constitutional rights, particularly when it does actually involve interstate commerce, i.e., people and goods crossing state lines. But I've been consistent on this. Leftists, liberals, Democrats have not been consistent. They've been saying that President Trump has the authority and power to lock down the country, but now they're saying he doesn't have the authority or power to open up the country, which is obviously inconsistent. And this is what liberals do. When it's a Republican in power, all of a sudden liberals care about the deficit. When it's a Republican, all of a sudden liberals care about states' rights. These people can't be trusted. Boom. All right.